Welcome back. Today we will learn about the unprecedented medical crisis brewing in Salem as E.J. DiMera's controversial leadership threatens to destroy University Hospital from within. The great medical exodus. The medical community of Salem is witnessing an unprecedented exodus as tensions reach a boiling point at University Hospital. What began as subtle dissatisfaction with E.J. DiMera's cost-cutting measures has evolved into a full-scale rebellion among the healthcare professionals who have dedicated their lives to serving the Salem community. Dr. Kayla Brady, the respected chief of staff, stands at the epicenter of this medical revolution, her resignation threat serving as a rallying cry for doctors and nurses who refuse to compromise patient care for financial gain. The hospital corridors, once bustling with confident medical professionals, now echo with whispered conversations of discontent and exit strategies. Senior physicians are quietly updating their resumes while younger residents question whether they chose the right profession. The nursing staff, already stretched thin by budget constraints, find themselves working double shifts with inadequate resources, their dedication tested to the breaking point. E.J.'s tyrannical hospital management. E.J. DiMera's management style has transformed University Hospital from a beacon of healing into a corporate nightmare. His ruthless budget slashing has created an environment where basic medical necessities are treated as luxury items. The pharmacy hours have been cut so drastically that patients like Chad DiMera find themselves racing against time to collect life-saving medications before the facility closes for the day. This isn't just inconvenience, it's a dangerous game with human lives hanging in the balance. The appointment of Rita Leslie as E.J.'s enforcer has added another layer of institutional cruelty to the hospital's operations. Her iron-fisted approach to cost reduction has eliminated simple comforts that once made the hospital bearable for both staff and patients. Fresh coffee has been replaced with stale substitutes, nutritious meals have given way to processed alternatives, and the atmosphere of healing has been suffocated by an oppressive focus on profit margins. Rita's presence serves as a constant reminder that compassion has no place in E.J.'s vision for healthcare. The Dr. Tom Horton Free Clinic, a beacon of hope in response to E.J.'s systematic destruction of accessible healthcare, Salem is witnessing the birth of something extraordinary. The Dr. Tom Horton Free Clinic. This grassroots initiative represents more than just medical services, it embodies the community's refusal to accept E.J.'s vision of healthcare as a privilege rather than a right. Kayla Brady, despite her mounting frustrations at University Hospital, has channeled her energy into creating this alternative sanctuary where the Horton legacy of compassionate care can continue to flourish. The clinic's upcoming grand opening promises to be a celebration that transcends mere medical services. It will serve as a powerful statement about Salem's values, a declaration that the community will not abandon its most vulnerable members to E.J.'s profit-driven agenda. The involvement of returning Horton family members, including the anticipated presence of Mike Horton and possibly his son Jeremy, adds emotional weight to this medical revolution. Their participation signals that the Horton commitment to healing extends across generations and will not be silenced by corporate greed. The hospital board's impossible choice. The University Hospital Board faced a decision that would define Salem's medical future for generations to come. With three stark options before them, bankruptcy and closure, salvation through Xander Kyriakis, or surrender to E.J. DiMera, the stakes couldn't have been higher. Xander's proposal initially appeared to be the hospital's salvation, backed by his marriage to Dr. Sarah Horton and supported by the influential Maggie Horton Kyriakis, whose board vote carried significant weight. The cruel irony of Xander's arrest at the crucial moment cannot be overstated. His absence during the final vote handed E.J. an uncontested victory that will haunt Salem's medical community for years to come. The timing suggests either extraordinary bad luck or calculated manipulation, raising questions about whether E.J.'s forces orchestrated Xander's downfall to secure the hospital acquisition. The board members, forced to choose between an absent candidate and E.J.'s present but problematic offer, made a decision that prioritized immediate financial stability over long-term patient welfare. The mystery behind EJ's hospital purchase. The investigation into E.J. DiMera's hospital acquisition has revealed disturbing questions about the true source of his funding. Shane Donovan's decision to recall Kat Green from her carefully constructed civilian life demonstrates the ISA's serious concern about DiMera family activities. Kat's unique position as Marlena's hospital assistant provides the perfect cover for intelligence gathering, but her dual loyalty to both the ISA and her growing feelings for Chad DiMera creates a dangerous emotional minefield. The collaboration between Kat and Rafe Hernandez represents a formidable investigative team determined to uncover the truth behind EJ's mysterious financial backing. Their probe suggests that EJ's personal wealth, substantial though it may be, falls far short of the resources needed to acquire and operate a failing hospital. The search for his silent partner has led investigators down a rabbit hole of DiMera family connections, raising the possibility that figures from the family's dark past, potentially including the enigmatic Vivian Alamain, may have emerged from the shadows to fund this medical venture. Kayla's last stand. Dr. Kayla Brady's threatened resignation represents more than just one doctor's protest. It symbolizes the breaking point of Salem's medical ethics. Her confrontation with EJ over air conditioning costs while patients suffered in sweltering conditions perfectly encapsulates the fundamental disconnect between his corporate priorities and basic human decency. When Kayla stormed into EJ's office, interrupting his meeting with Stephanie, she wasn't just complaining about climate control. She was defending the dignity of every patient and staff member under her care. EJ's tactical retreat when faced with Kayla's resignation threat reveals his awareness that losing the chief of staff would trigger a mass exodus that could cripple the hospital entirely. His temporary concessions mask a deeper strategy to gradually wear down resistance through systematic pressure and incremental policy changes. Kayla's position as both a medical leader and a beloved community figure makes her the perfect symbol of resistance against EJ's healthcare revolution, but it also makes her a target for more sophisticated forms of retaliation. The unfolding crisis at University Hospital represents Salem's struggle between profit-driven healthcare and community-centered healing, with Dr. Kayla Brady and the emerging free clinic standing as the last bastions of hope against E.J. DiMera's corporate takeover. Next, on this emotional Monday, August 4, 2025, Salem is bursting at the seams with heartbreak, mystery, and long-awaited reunions. This episode brought warmth, worry, and more than a few tears as characters navigated personal loss, shocking disappearances, and unexpected family moments. Let's walk through everything that unfolded today in Salem. Cherry blossom. A gentle stroll turns into a storm. The day began innocently enough. Chanel and Johnny, hand in hand, were strolling through the town square. It was one of those quiet moments where everything seemed right, laughter echoing, smiles exchanged, and the peaceful comfort of simply being together. Johnny, in particular, was uplifted knowing his mother, Sammy, had returned to Salem for a visit. For once, there were no courtrooms or family drama lingering over them, just mother and son reconnecting. Or so it seemed. But the peace was short-lived. Suddenly, Felicity came rushing in, breathless, her face pale with panic. Chanel immediately noticed the change in her demeanor. Before she could ask anything, Felicity blurted out, "My sister is missing." The words hung in the air like thunder after lightning. Chanel, ever the voice of reason, asked what everyone else was surely thinking, "What do you mean?" But Felicity's answer was simple and chilling: Kat had vanished without a trace. Recognizing the urgency of the moment, Chanel made a quick decision. She led Johnny to his mother's house to let the police handle things, while Felicity rushed off toward the police station to file a missing persons report. The lightness of the square was gone, replaced by a heaviness that only deepened as the day wore on. Fire Sammy's heartbreak in the glow of the fireplace. Meanwhile, across town, a much more personal storm was brewing. In the quiet solitude of her mother's home, Sammy sat in an armchair, gazing silently into the soft crackle of the fireplace. In her hands was a framed photo of John, her stepfather, her rock, her biggest supporter, now gone. Tears welled in her eyes as her fingers trembled against the frame. She hadn't made it in time. She hadn't said goodbye. She hadn't called enough. Hadn't thanked him. Hadn't been the daughter he deserved. He treated me like a daughter, Sammy whispered through sobs, not realizing someone had just entered the room. It was Marlena. Broken heart. A tearful reunion between mother and daughter. Marlena stepped into the room, her arms full of papers from work, trying to keep her mind busy, anything to keep from breaking down. But when she looked up and saw Sammy sitting there, sorrow written across her face, all pretenses fell away. Without a word, mother and daughter rushed into each other's arms. What followed was a reunion years in the making. Sammy wept in Marlena's embrace, apologizing again and again for not making it in time to say goodbye to John. Marlena, with tears of her own, reassured her daughter with gentle words and the kind of embrace only a mother can give. "You're home now," she told Sammy. And those words carried more weight than anything else could in that moment. On the couch, wrapped in a blanket and each other's comfort, Sammy poured out her heart, her guilt, her regrets, her love. Marlena listened, tears streaming, but her voice steady. She reassured Sammy that John knew how deeply she loved him. That even if she didn't say it out loud, he felt it. He always had. The bond between them was palpable, not just as mother and daughter, but as two women mourning the same loss, holding each other up in a moment when the world felt like it had fallen away beneath them. Detective A mystery begins to unravel elsewhere in Salem. Another mystery was gaining steam. Julie had just come downstairs when she bumped into JJ. Casual morning greetings quickly turned to concern when both realized they had no idea where Chad was. Chad, who never missed his morning routine, was nowhere to be found. Julie thought perhaps he was just sleeping in. JJ, however, had a gut feeling something was wrong. He immediately headed for the police station to file a BOLO, a be on the lookout alert, hoping to get ahead of whatever trouble might be unfolding. But just as he was about to submit the paperwork, Chanel and Felicity arrived. Their news stopped JJ cold. Kat was missing. That was all he needed. In his mind, the pieces clicked instantly. Chad was gone. Kat was gone. Two people disappearing at the same time. This was no coincidence. They're together, JJ muttered, already piecing together a possible timeline. And just like that, the search kicked into high gear. Family man woman boy a son's embrace, a moment of grace back at Marlena's house, the grief-filled conversation between mother and daughter was slowly shifting. They weren't healed, not yet, but they were starting to breathe again. Sammy had promised to stay for a while, to be there for Marlena, for herself, and for Johnny. And just then, Johnny knocked on the door. The moment he saw his mother, he didn't say a word. He just rushed into her arms, like the little boy he used to be, needing nothing more than his mother's love. For a fleeting moment, it was as if all the chaos in Salem paused, letting them have that small slice of peace. Marlena quietly excused herself, leaving mother and son to reconnect. Johnny, ever the realist, reminded Sammy gently that she didn't need to come to his trial. Not with EJ defending him, not with all the tension between his parents that always seemed to explode at the worst times. But Sammy, for once, didn't get angry. She just held him tighter. Crystal ball, what comes next in Salem? As the credits rolled on this emotional Monday, Salem was left in a swirl of questions and emotions. Where are Chad and Kat? Did they leave willingly, or is something more sinister going on? Will Sammy be able to find peace with her past, and with the memory of John? Can Marlena hold the family together in her own grief while still doing her job? And how will Johnny's upcoming trial shake the foundations of the DiMera family once again? Candle final thoughts. Today's episode wasn't about explosions or secrets being revealed, not yet, anyway. It was about the quieter kind of drama. The kind that breaks your heart, makes you cry with the characters, and reminds us all that the deepest stories are the ones about love, loss, and family. Whether you've been watching Days of Our Lives for decades or just joined recently, this episode proves that Salem still knows how to deliver an emotional punch straight to the heart. Stay tuned, tomorrow promises even more revelations. And who knows? Maybe the search for Chad and Kat will uncover a secret that rocks Salem to its core.